Awesome. Well, yeah, thanks for joining us today, Chris Nayna. I've been really excited to do this interview. You're quite a unique character with quite a unique story. Um,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I know a bit about you, Chris, but for the viewers that are watching, can you tell them who you are and where you come from and a bit about yourself?
Yeah. Name's Chris. I'm 29 years of age. Um, I got a background in crit care cardiology as a registered nurse. So I did that for 6 years, but currently practicing as a personal trainer. I've got my own personal training studio called Train Station Fitness, and I help general population help with their fitness goals. Really, nothing specific. Generalist, just like my training style. But yeah, I've been a fitness addict since I was about 16 and been super consistent ever since. And yeah, turned my passion and my hobby of training into a career.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
when did you start your career as a nurse?
So straight out of high school, went to DLSL College. Didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do, um, which was a bit challenging, but I knew I wanted to be in like health and science I enjoyed, so that kind of led me down the nursing career pathway. My sister and my mum were both nurses, and they're like, give it a go. They tell me stories about their experience with it. Had quite a wide catchment area, so it means you could go into many different disciplines within the, I guess, health sciences, and there's a lot of career prospects. And being a male in nursing, it's a bit unusual, but there is a demand there. So I thought it's a great option. So I just started straight out of high school, went to uni, did a Bachelor of Applied Science and Nursing, and then did 3 years of that, went travelling for 7 months overseas, and then went straight into a career as a nurse.
Yeah. So, how many
So,
brothers and sisters have you got, Chris?
what was that, sorry?
How many brothers and sisters do you have?
Youngest of 7, so I got 4 older sisters and 2 older brothers.
And
So
so,
I learned from their mistakes, and they helped me, I guess, along the way. I guess that's one of the benefits of having older siblings.
yeah. So, growing up, did you? Because I know some people that grow up in big families, and um, sometimes they can be bullied by their older siblings, or other times they compete with their older siblings, or they're encouraged. What was it like for you as an experience? Was it a mixture of all, or?
Yeah, I guess there's so many different inputs that you experience all of the above and more. But at the end of the day, we're a big loving family and we respect each other. There's no ongoing bitterness or anything like that. So we all still catch up every week, and at the end of the day, we're all siblings and we're blood and we support each other. But yeah, you'd have your run-ins with your siblings, but we just made sure we didn't really hold grudges and things like that.
Yeah. Are your parents
Yeah,
still together?
yeah, parents are still together.
Yeah.
Catholic background, which explains the 7 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still going strong. Dad's 73 and Mum's 70 next year. So
Yeah. How does that affect the way that you see relationships, having a really stable, tight knit family?
yeah, look, their values and their morals kind of transcended into us as kids. So for all us kids, we've got stable relationships, wives, things like that. So it's a positive, I guess, role model having that. But I think that's super important, just the way you value, I guess, the opposite sex and relationships and those sort of things. Yeah, but unfortunately for a lot of families, that's not the case. They're not as lucky to have parents all together. Um, but yeah, there's some things that you can take that are positive and some things that you can take that are negative. But yeah,
Yeah.
every relationship's unique.
Yeah. Do the rest of your siblings, are they all in stable relationships?
Yeah. So I've got 3 sisters who have all got 2 kids each and husbands, and then my brother just recently had a child and he's got a wife, and I've got one brother who's still single and a sister that's still single,
Yeah. And
and I'm married.
Sorry?
And I'm married. So I got married in March earlier
Con-
this year.
Congratulations, mate.
Thank you very much.
So, do you know people that they've come from families that are unstable or have come from a divorced family? Do you think that that makes you less likely to also be in a stable relationship, or not necessarily?
Um, Necessarily, I think it depends in the partner and the things that you value. And if you've got values that align and interests that align, and yeah, you learn to communicate effectively, I think they're more important. And if you're on the same wavelength in that regard, I think you're setting yourself up for a decent relationship. Um, but in some cases, unfortunately, that kind of dissipates, and sometimes it's better off that they're not together, sadly. But that's the nature of humans.
Yeah. So, your story is quite interesting because when I think of someone who's really utilized social media to the fullest, um, I think about you. Your name rings true to me. So, what after you went to school and then you travelled and then you went to university. Did you
Yeah.
do anything else along the way? Did you have any side ventures or anything like that while you were studying
Yeah,
nursing?
yeah. Look, I've always had side hustles. Always, I've got a business mind that I like to nurture and a creative mind that I like to nurture as well. And nursing and university didn't entirely satisfy that, so I made sure I was busy in other areas. So whilst I was at uni, I was working as a memberships consultant at a gym, so working for commissions. I worked for a man with spinal muscular atrophy who was in a wheelchair, or he's in a wheelchair, and he had trouble mobilising. So he was very intelligent, so I helped him get to work and helped with his computer work and just helped him get by. So yeah, I learnt a lot of lessons there. So I worked those two jobs concurrently and just had a few other bits and pieces on the side.
Yeah. So you've worked in nursing, you've worked in fitness, and you've worked with disabled people. It seems like there's a bit of a common thread as to what you've done. It's always been in health or helping people. With
Yeah.
regards to helping the gentleman with spinal atrophy, what would those day-to-day activities involve?
So he worked for a company called YDAS, which is a youth disability advocacy service. So he helped empower young people with disabilities, just to know their rights and to get by and encourage independence, which is quite rewarding. So a lot of his time was working out of an office. So it'd be a lot of emails. So he would talk to me, dictate to me, I'd write down everything, and yeah. So a lot of it was computer facing. But other than that, it would be helping him get by, feeding him, driving him around, and just helping everyday activities, brushing his teeth, all that sort of stuff, as well as the business component of things as well.
Yeah. So a part of that was one-on-one care with someone who's almost fully disabled. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, physically quite disabled, but mentally acute. Like he was very intelligent,
Yeah.
kind of like your Stephen Hawkins kind of character. So he's super intelligent, but just was unlucky. And yeah,
What qualities do you require to be a one-on-one carer with someone who's fully disabled?
so it kind of, I was working at the reception at the gym for a little while, and he was a member at the gym. And when he was waiting for his carers to come in and take him through his stretches and shower and things like that, we used to communicate, just have a chat. And then we developed quite a good relationship just from the desk. And then one day he said, "Hey, do you want to be one of my carers?" And he said, and I'm like, "Yeah, he seems like a great guy. We get along really well." And he was paying me much more than the gym was paying me. So I said, "Yeah, sure." And then, yeah, ended up working with him for about 5 years. And I'm actually catching up with him this Thursday. I haven't seen him in a little while, so it'll be good to catch up and But back to your question about what qualifications. I was
What
studying nursing.
qualifications and what qualities?
Yeah. I think you have to have a bit of compassion, empathy, just a lot of practical skills, just having an awareness, being, I guess, mindful of somebody who's not in your position. So some things may be more difficult for them. So you really got to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. So there's that level of qualities that you need, but also I was studying nursing at the time. So there was a lot of things that that would transfer across that I felt quite beneficial, and so did he. Yeah.
Yeah. So you did nursing and you're a one-on-one carer. Is there a reason why you didn't stay in those industries? Like you said that working for him was quite good money and stuff like that. Is there a reason why you've gone to branch out on your own?
Yeah. Look, I was working as a cricket care nurse for a while, so I was in the hospital for about 6 years, and I was just kind of looking at what career pathways I could take, and it was a management position or education position in the hospital, or just going into a different field. So I ended up specialising in cardiology. So I did my postgrad in critical cardiology and worked in a little bit in ICU, in critical care, or CCU cardiology, and I spent some time in cath lab. And I felt there was a part that I wasn't quite satisfying, and it was again that creative, that business-like mind, and this addiction almost that I had from a very young age, since I was 16, of training. So when I wasn't at work, I spent a lot of time in the gym, and it was just a daily ritual for me. So I had a lot of people asking me to train them, and I said, I'm not qualified, I can't do it. I don't have the facilities even. So when I was doing my postgrad, I also did my certificate 3-4 fitness, and then started, because I thought there's a lot of demand there. I just got to do it. I need to get a bit more insight into the field. Something I've always wanted to do it, but kind of shut it down. But yeah, just backed myself, finished that off, and then it got to a point where I was building a gym at home. So I emptied out my garage and put in some floors. Look, this place here. Put down some floors, got a bench press off Gumtree, and just started picking up clients. And as the money came in, I started improving the equipment that I had. And now I've got it to something that I'm really proud of, and I've got everything that I need. Then eventually the demand for PT increased so much that I could drop my hours in nursing, because I felt more rewarded in the gym. In some ways more rewarded in the gym, but there's other parts of nursing that I really miss. But yeah, so it got to the point where I figured it takes probably about 10 hours out of my day to do nursing. So getting ready for work, commuting, working, commuting back home and winding down takes about 10 hours out of my day. Whereas if I'm PTing, it takes about 5 hours out of my day for the same financial reward, and I feel more fulfilled in PT. So it seemed like a no-brainer. Like I work less hard. It's more working smarter than harder. So that was the transition there. And I've been doing that for about 2 years as a PT, and now I've just leased my own facility or small gym studio. So I'm starting to grow and develop, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah. That's very exciting. Yeah, congratulations about that. So you've moved into a premises in what suburb is it?
Malvern.
In Malvern.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So are you taking all your equipment from your current gym to the new one?
Absolutely, yeah. The space isn't huge, but it's more or less the same thing I'm doing now. So it's one-on-one personal training, small groups if requested, up to about 4. But I like the personal nature of personal training and working holistically on life goals and fitness goals and health goals from a more comprehensive and holistic approach rather than just train hard and diet. I like to look at it more as a spectrum, so finding a goal, figuring out a mindset that supports that goal, getting organised, making your daily rituals and practices like on point to assist with the goal, and then getting obviously your training and your eating down pat and that rest and recovery element as well. So it's multifaceted, and I've created a program around it. But that's kind of what I try to teach all my clients. And there's a lot there, so it's quite time consuming, but it's about getting those habits right for best outcomes.
Yeah. Just give me 1 second. Was it possible for you, like, was it viable for you to go straight from high school into the business that you've got now? Would it have been just as successful, or was the step into critical care nursing, and working in the gym, was that pivotal to your success now?
Yeah, look, I think I wouldn't have developed the skills and the knowledge having gone straight into it. I think I got a lot of, I guess, experience throughout the years as a nurse in different areas, but it all supports what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
I think it gives me a bit more credibility having my background, which puts me in a stronger position for where I am now. So I think having that formal education and a degree under the belt helped a lot. Even the way I like to, so when I was doing my Bachelor of Science, that was the real nitty-gritty anatomy, physiology, all that real nitty-gritty stuff. And then I did my PT course, which was quite superficial, like movement patterns and stuff. And I found that having both those knowledges kind of gave you a better understanding of what happens. So if you think about like a magnifying glass, you kind of go in on all the sciences and things of it, and then you've got a practical sense, which I got through the PT course. So I think I developed the understanding a lot better having done the PT course and having that background, then jumping straight into it. But having said that, if I had to jump straight into it, I probably had more experience in the field. So that could have worked to my detriment. But who knows? I'm happy where I'm at now, so I'm good with that.
Yeah. And so at what point did you decide you wanted to go from nursing into a full-time personal training business? Was that during your nursing degree, or was that after you graduated?
It was after, yeah. It was definitely after. It's after spending a few years in the field as a nurse and understanding the healthcare system and the requirements of a nurse, and then not listening to my true calling, which was always there. When I wasn't at the hospital working or studying, I was at the gym. That's where I was at my happiest. But I kind of shut that down in terms of career-wise. And then eventually just said, hey, it's been there all the time. It's been the most consistent thing you've ever done. You're obsessed with it. You love teaching it. You love doing it. It's just, eventually it's just like, this is a no-brainer. Like, you just got to do it.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like developing in the nursing side of things and on the PT side of things. So I could go either way. And then just, I think the PT side, it was just taking off. So,
yeah. So when you decided to make that call to change your career, did you feel any degree of disappointment? Did you think, I wasted these years or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you get those feelings. You're like, I spent a lot of money doing what I was doing. I spent a lot of time doing what I was doing. And now those skills kind of feel like I haven't lost them. I've still got them, but it's a knowledge that I don't need to tap into anymore.
Yeah.
I really cornered myself into an area or a niche, and I find that those skills are pretty redundant.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm glad I developed them and I use them because there's a lot of different learnings there, but I think I don't really apply them as much today.
Yeah.
But having said that, it does come in handy. I've got lots of clients who have medical history of cardiac issues and those sort of things and other medical issues, and I've got an understanding of it, so I know what to do. I guess what their limitations are. We talk about their diagnoses and things like that. And not that I'm giving any advice or anything, but we like to explore different concepts.
Yeah. And I noticed that what you said before is, you become a nurse and then you decided you wanted to do your own PT business, and then you gradually tapered off. It was a gradual tapered off. You used your nursing to finance your new business. And, you've always got a backup to go to as well. So you've got that financial security if things weren't hypothetically to work out. You've done it smart. You've just gauged it. All right, my PT business is picking up. I'm still going to work as a nurse. I'm going to use my nursing career to finance my personal training business. You've been able to draw a lot of positives, even though you've changed your career and you've spent quite a number of years developing yourself to become a nurse. You've finished high school, you've gone to university, you've worked for a number of years. Even though there's those negative thoughts that have ran through your head, have I wasted my time? You've also utilised, there's a lot of positives that have come out of it as well, hasn't there?
Absolutely, yeah. You just dive in and things will start to create opportunities, and you just got to have, I guess, make the right choices.
Yeah.
Or be smart enough to bail out when you've made the wrong ones.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's another one as well, isn't it? I've just recently, one of my companies, I've pretty much decided to discontinue it, and that's almost just as important as making the. Yeah, you've got to know when to fold them, know when to hold them, and know when to fold them.
Exactly.
And it's tough.
And there's always positives and a negative, I think. It's just your perspective and the way you want to frame it. Like, you can be bitter and miserable about making mistakes, or you can learn from it. So it's really up to you and the perspective you want to make.
Yeah. My philosophy is that, even if something, fails in quote marks, you never actually fail because you always learn things along the way. I mean, with you, as you said, through your nursing, you've developed, those personal skills, those interpersonal skills. You've financially set yourself up. You've given yourself something to fall back on as well. And it just adds another layer to your credentials and to the service that you provide. So...
And that's what I learned through fitness and, I guess you could say, bodybuilding and things like that, where failure is success. Like, you fail in the weights, you push for every last rep, and if you don't hit your rep range, like, you get stronger as a result, and you kind of learn from that.
Yeah. I want to talk about social media for a second, because to a lot of young kids these days, social media has a massive influence in our lives. I mean, it has a massive influence in everyone's lives. I mean, we're around 30, and it plays a massive influence. I'd say you're one person that's very popular on social media. How many followers and friends do you have on your pages?
So Instagram's got nearly 93,000, and Facebook, I don't nurture as much, and I think there's about 5,000 or so.
Yeah.
But the main platform is Instagram for me.
Yeah. And so how has that helped you with your personal training business?
A lot.
Yeah.
A huge amount. So I've been working on my social media account for, I'd say, maybe 5 years now.
Yeah.
At the start, it was just social media. It was just putting filters on images, and when I was traveling, and showing my friends like what I was up to, and keeping in touch with friends. But then I did a thing called Cleo Bachelor on the magazine Cleo. They had this Bachelor of the Year competition. I saw a lot of the boys there who were using social media as a business. And I was like, what's going on? This is interesting the way they use it. And they were just saying, oh yeah, we're actually like making money from this, or we're like fashion bloggers as well as models and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I could really create some sort of brand here. but I didn't really know what that brand was, so it was just kind of like me for a long time. And I kind of knew the power of it, having a big reach. So I did nurture it for a long time, but not knowing exactly what my brand is. I knew it was in the health and fitness space, but I kind of got influenced by people with big followings, and a lot of it didn't make sense. Like the things that I'm getting rewarded were quite often superficial, and there wasn't any value add, which I kind of had this inner discomfort about, because I was like, I'm doing this thing that they're doing, but it's not fulfilling.
Yeah.
So it took me a long time to develop this brand where I'm like, okay, I need to start to add value. So I need to educate. This is something that I like to do, is train. So I'm just going to create a health and fitness page. And that really only happened probably about maybe 2 years in, so about 3 years ago, where I'm like, okay, it's strictly health and fitness. So anything health related, anything fitness related, it's on my page. And
Yeah.
I'm kind of not so my audience know what to expect. So a lot of it was just like meal prepping, just how I organise my days, my training, mainly. And yeah, and every now and again I'm throwing bits and pieces like my dog or a relationship or on a holiday, that sort of thing. But the bulk of it is the audience want to know more about fitness. So that's a brand that I developed. But in terms of helping the business, having an audience like that and showing them I've got a business and I can teach, that just attracted people from all corners of Melbourne. So I got people travelling half an hour to come and see me for a session, 45 minutes sometimes, to get to me, because I live in the outer suburbs. That's why I'm moving closer, because it's a bit more convenient for them. But in terms of my catchment, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And I've also opened up online as well. So it's a global audience. So I've got clients in America, I've got clients in London, I've got clients, like in Manila, Philippines.
Yeah, right.
So,
So you've got clients over there. What? So you've got personal training clients from overseas, is that right?
Yeah. So I did the coaching element and I did the programming element because I did my strength and conditioning coaching course.
Yeah.
So I write up programs for people. But as I was saying earlier, my brand's not just programming and diet plans. It's a bit more holistic than that. So I spent about a year writing a program, which I call the 6 stations of Train Station Fitness.
Yeah.
But it's about creating a lifestyle around a goal. And I tap into setting the goal, really picking it apart. The second part is about creating a mindset to support that goal. The third part is about regulate, so it's about getting organised and creating time and prioritisation for yourself.
Yeah.
And the fourth part is about eating, so about nutrition, meal prep, diet, all that sort of thing, just the basics. And move is the next part, and that's about training and making it specific to your goals. And then the last part's rest, which is about like sleeping, supplementation, gratitude, love, all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah.
it captures a lot of different elements, and it gets the individual to think about it, their lifestyle, and these questions a little bit more. But it's the things I wish I had known from day dot. If I was 16 years old and someone gave me this program, I would have been very happy. Because these kind of ideas that I explore, things that I've developed over 30 years of training.
Yeah.
So I think I'd be in a better place having known these ideas, these topics, and
So you coach clients on fitness. Those 6 stations that you just mentioned, are they related to life goals as well?
Absolutely. It
Yeah.
doesn't need to be just training specific. So at the start of the course, I get people to make 2 goals, but one training specific, because obviously that's my realm and I'd be of most benefit there. But if they wanted to work on something separate to that, whether it be a work goal or a financial goal or a holiday goal, something like that, we really dig dive, pick it apart, and help them achieve that.
Yeah.
By giving them like practical daily rituals to help achieve those things.
So, have you done any training with regards to personal development, or you've made these 6 stations yourself and you've done your PT course?
Uh, I haven't done any specific training. I studied psychology in high school and uni a little bit, and I've always had an interest in philosophy and psychology. The stuff that I read is, yeah, kind of always points to those kind of areas and those disciplines. And then I've kind of applied it back to training and goal setting and
Yeah,
I guess motivation and things like that.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and I think that keeps me learning as well as I train. I think it keeps me interested.
yeah. So you're quite an
Yeah.
introspective person. You,
Yeah, very much so.
yeah, the thinker. Um, so for the young people watching, if you want to set a goal, Chris's 6 stations. I won't read them here. I'll just get you to run through each of them again, if you could. So I'd just like to go over that again. So Chris, the just want you to run through those uh, the 6 stations that you've got again. Can you just go through them in terms of achieving your goals?
Yeah, so first one is setting a goal. So goal setting. Second one is mindset. Third one is regulate. Fourth is eat. Fifth is move. And sixth is rest.
And I'd certainly agree with that. I think that in terms of achieving your goals, there's some certain things that really help you along the way, and sleeping goes with your rest. I think having good, they call it sleep hygiene, having good sleep patterns are really good. Exercise is good, even if it's just going for a walk or something, just to get the, just to help with, relieve anxiety and the other benefits. Eating healthy, even if it's just, salad and vegetables, something plant-based. Um, yeah, having a good mindset, thinking positively, and trying to think positively at least. And if you do get negative thoughts running through your head, which I think we all do, and that's very human, we get 60,000 thoughts that run through our brain every day. That's something that we can't control, but what we can control is what we do with those thoughts. And if we let them manifest and come out of our mouth, my mum always said, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. And I'd like to extend that by, even if you're thinking it, you don't have to say it. If it's not nice, just keep it to yourself. And the benefits of that, I think, are just unbelievable. So I think, and yeah, I think it's very important to have goals. A lot of people document their goals in different ways. They'll write it on a whiteboard, on a piece of paper, on their computer. They'll know it in their head. They'll have a vision board. I think regardless how you document them, it's good to have goals, concrete goals, and revisit the goals ideally on a regular basis, like every 4 months, 6 months, 12 months.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that you have there in your train stations, in your goal achieving stations there. I like it how you've branded that. That actually transcends a lot with me. So that there's a common theme. And for the viewers, if you go back through all the videos and we're having a discussion with all of these successful people that I've interviewed, there's common elements. And that's something that I'm really interested in with doing this project on helping young kids achieve their wildest goals and dreams. It actually gives me a chance to, I get a lot out of it too. And it's great to interview minds like this, that everyone's kind of been on their own journey and everyone's successful in their own right. And there are common threads. Life can, to an extent, be hacked. There is a to-do protocol and sequence if you want to achieve your goals, and even if you want to achieve big goals. even if you've got big dreams. It's healthy to have goals. It's healthy to... Humans, I think, are less content. Humans aren't content. Humans aren't at peace if they don't have something to work towards. I think humans can be very lost if they don't have goals, whether that's financial goals, career goals, even just to be a really good partner or a family member. It's very healthy to have goals. Sorry?
Having that purpose, knowing why you do things.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I think it's very important to know what your goal is, but why that goal is important to you. To give yourself that purpose. Excuse me. So, Chris, what are some things to look out for young people that are using social media? I mean, you've got nearly 100,000 followers on Instagram. Is there anything that young people should be aware of when using social media?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the landscape's changing a lot, but I think the first and foremost thing should be selective in who you follow and question whether they add value to your life. Because if it's somebody who doesn't, you're following somebody who doesn't add value to your life and they make you feel miserable, then why are you following them? Is it because they're popular, or but if they make you feel shit, it's not worth actually investing your time or effort in there. So follow people that are helping you or help you to improve in some way. There's so many different things out there or areas or expertise. Like for me, it's fitness. So I follow pages that help me with fitness and help me get ahead. Whereas there's a lot of people who even like have like fishing pages. Like there's so many different niches that cover. So depending on where your discipline are, find those people that are going to help you develop and not hold you back.
Yeah, that's amazing advice.
While every now and again having a bit of a cull. So going through your following list and going, is this person worth following? And if it's no, it's probably worth an unfollow. Yeah.
That's really good advice, and I'm actually going to take that advice when I get off this, because there's a lot of things. I do use Facebook a lot. I don't post many things personally about myself. This not-for-profit quest that I'm on at the moment is different, but personally, there's a lot of things that I follow. And sometimes I'm looking at these things, I think, why am I looking at this? I think this can't be healthy. Like completely unconstructive posts that aren't good for my mindset. It's like when you watch TV and you're watching advertisements all the time. And, you know, if you're watching something negative on TV, like the negative news. I don't watch much TV personally. I hardly ever watch TV unless I'm watching the AFL football. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I don't watch TV. But I find still sometimes I'm looking at things on my social media.
Be aware of where your attention's going and making sure it's in the right places. Like, I don't watch pretty much any television because I just know there's so many better options out there. Whether it be like documentaries or Netflix, like I find there's a lot more value, less advertisements.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. That's pearl-like advice there. I haven't heard that from anyone yet, and I've never actually heard anyone say that before, but it's so true and it's so obvious, but something that I've got written down now, so I'm going to do that after this. I'm going to go on all my things that I follow, and I'm going to unfollow the non-constructive things that don't help make me a better person.
What do they call it? It's an attention diet, so having a healthy input, so you have healthy outputs.
Attention diet.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So, when you're posting things a lot on social media, you know, you've got so many followers, you've got nearly 100,000 followers. Do you feel the pressure to post certain things? Do you ever feel the pressure to post things? Because some people, I mean, you hear the cliche all the time, oh, that person's on Instagram and they've got this many followers, but is that who they're really like? Are they fake on social media? Are they different in person? Does it put pressure on you to put certain posts up, or does it put pressure on you to be a type of person out in real life?
Yeah, I try to create content around something that happens. So it'll be like training or something, and whether it can add value to someone. So the things that go through my head is this going to be of value to anyone? If it's not, then it's probably not worth posting. But also, there's the landscape of having paid and sponsored posts as well, which helps get by. Like I have sponsored posts as well for products and things like that. But essentially, that's helping me fund adding value. Because if you think about it, if I spend the amount of time I spend on social media, if I spent that in a job or studying, I'd probably have a PhD, to be honest. So, it is a financial, I guess, aspect there. But as long as that's not the pure drive, and you'll find there's a lot of influencers out there whose pure drive is to make money from promoting brands and products. Whether that's adding value for a lot is questionable. But what I try to do is weave something in that's genuine. So a product that I'll use, and it would be also adding value. So it could be like a training, like something I use for training, like shoes or something like that, or wrist straps or something that helps my training, because that aligns with my brand.
Yeah.
So I've got to be really selective with things that I have to knock stuff back all the time. People are like, hey, you got a big audience, promote this for me. I'm like, no, I'm not using that. I'll never use that, and I wouldn't endorse it. So there's a lot of stuff I knock back, but there's a lot of people who just take whatever, whenever, for how much ever they can get. So I guess it's the integrity of the person you're following.
Yeah. This one. Oh. I'm going to have to cut this out as well.
Yeah.
God. So horrible. So for kids that are watching that don't necessarily know what they want to do with their career or anything like that, what advice would you have for the kids in that situation?
Follow your interest. 100%. If you're interested in something, dive into it. You'll learn a lot. And then if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Move on to the next thing that you're interested in, and making sure that you develop a support network around those interests. Because there's often a lot of pressure for you to, I guess, perform in certain areas that you're not interested in. And for me, that's why I found school so hard, because I didn't like to be told what to learn. I like to learn about what I wanted to learn about. So I was a bit stubborn that way. So when things like YouTube and stuff came out, and books have been around forever, but audiobooks, when they sort of became more prevalent, I took in so much. Like, I did most of my learning when, I guess, YouTube and books and audiobooks were available. Whereas before it was kind of like textbooks and things that I wasn't very interested in. But yeah, just supporting and put energy into what you're interested in.
So find people in that industry that are already in the industry, get mentors.
Yeah. And get insight from what they've learned. Or find somebody in a position that you'd love to be in and pick their brain. Yeah. People are generally pretty helpful and they want to help others. So by all means, use your resources.
Yeah, I agree with that. People are, you'd be surprised who would be prepared to mentor you, and people. I think people love to give back as well, and I think the reason why people like to mentor as well. I mean, I'm an example. I mentor a lot of kids. It's funny. It's a human trait, and not many mentors are aware of it, but they like to be the master. They like to be the teacher. They like to hear themselves speak. People like to hear themselves guide others and make themselves feel like an expert. So when you ask someone to be your mentor, you might not even ask them. You might just ask them for tips regularly, and they feel like a big brother to you. You're actually doing them a favor as well, because you're making them feel important. Because even though someone might seem grand, they're a fantastic personal trainer, they're a fantastic dentist or a nurse, or any field that you want to go in, they they could actually still be quite lonely. So they may actually get a bit of satisfaction out of imparting some of their own wisdom onto you. So yeah, and even
They've
asking.
learned a lot.
Sorry.
Go on. I said they've learned a lot getting to where they are, and you'd probably find you face a lot of the same difficulties and hurdles. So why not bypass them a lot quicker than you should?
Absolutely. Save yourself the time and the effort. And that goes for anyone like, motorbike riders or, someone who wants to be a world champion soccer player. Just, you'd be surprised. Contact the person at the top. If you tell them exactly who you are, why you're contacting them, you're young, you've got big dreams, big goals, ask them, what would you do if you were me? How can I get to your level? What would you, if there's something, you'd take back, or if there's something, advice you had to give to your younger self, what would it be? Those questions like that, you'd be surprised who'd get back to you. And I think even the most popular people with an unbelievable, that seem unbelievably popular and successful from afar, I think you'd be very surprised as to who actually has time to provide either a little bit of guidance or some long term ongoing guidance. So
I'm always going back to people who reach out to me with a genuine approach. So just make sure your approach is genuine and that you actually, and the way that you. That's one of the benefits of social media is that the world's a much smaller place now. So back in the day, you'd see celebrities on TV. They were unattainable. They were untouchable. You could not contact them. These days on social media, you've got, I guess, micro celebrities that you can contact, you can pick their brain, you can engage with.
Yeah.
Which is, one of the many benefits of social media.
Absolutely, and people like that. I think people like to get asked for advice, and people like to impart their knowledge. So, it's been really good today, Chris. It's been really good to talk about the attention diet, which you've spoken about. It's been good to talk about mentors and how to get advice and wisdom, and as you said, finding a support network in the areas of life that you want to pursue. Your advice was to pursue your interests. I think it was great advice. I think it was great to go through those 6 train stations of achieving your goals and dreams. It was good to talk about how social media can impact your business in a positive way, and some things to do if you do manage to get a large following like yourself. And it was good to talk about as well career changes and how to manage career changes. And I've really enjoyed today, Chris.
Thanks for the call, mate. It's good to catch up.
Yeah, you too, mate. So where can people find you? For those that are listening, if they'd like to find you or find more about nursing or becoming a personal trainer, where can they find you?
Email, but mainly Instagram. Instagram's probably the primary platform, and that's at Chris Nayna. So CHRIS and then surname NAYNA. And then I'll have a YouTube channel coming up soon when I move into the gym.
Oh, that's awesome, mate. I'm so happy for you. You've always been a very straight arrow. And, possibly it's because you come from such a stable background, but no, I mean, you're an inspiration to all, and, you are a healthcare professional. You have been a healthcare professional, but you've always had that entrepreneurial flair, and you're going to continue to do well. I know you will. Watch it. I've been watching it for the last almost 10 years or something since I've known you, so it's great to watch your progress, and we don't speak too often, but when we do speak, we're always doing something a little bit different.
Yeah, right back at you, mate.
Yeah, so no,
you worry about your stuff later.
Yeah, no, awesome, mate. No, thanks so much, and for those that are watching, if you can comment or share this to your friends that can get some value out of it, it'd be awesome. Thanks a lot, Chris. I really appreciate your time, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thanks.
Cheers, mate. Bye. Just stay on if you